Lyra wandered through the ruins of her home planet, her small figure moving silently among the broken towers and shattered streets. She had always been different from the others, her skin shimmering faintly in colors no one could name, her eyes glowing softly in the dark. Everywhere she went, the other aliens avoided her, whispering cruel words behind her back. "Don't go near her," they would say, "she is not like us." Even when she tried to speak, her words were met with laughter or cold silence. Lyra remembered when she was younger, trying to play with the children in the crystal gardens. She had wanted to make friends, to laugh and run with others, but they pushed her away, calling her strange, saying she had no place among them. The loneliness had grown inside her like a shadow, but Lyra refused to give up. She walked past the abandoned towers, searching for something she could not name, a feeling that maybe, somewhere, she could belong. One day, while exploring a collapsed temple, she found a small glowing crystal lying in the dust. Its light pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat. Lyra reached out and touched it, and a soft whisper echoed in her mind, "You are special, you are not alone." Her heart beat faster, hope stirring for the first time in many cycles. She kept the crystal close as she wandered the ruins, feeling its warmth like a small flame against the cold, lonely wind. But not everyone was blind to her presence. From the shadows, two figures watched her, their eyes sharp and calculating. One of them stepped forward, but Lyra did not see them clearly, only sensing a strange energy watching her. Fear and curiosity mixed inside her. She wanted to run, but something inside told her to stay. The crystal's soft light seemed to comfort her, telling her that not all beings were dangerous, that maybe someone, somewhere, could understand her. As the twin suns of her planet began to set, painting the sky in orange and purple, Lyra felt the wind carrying whispers she could not understand. She clutched the crystal tightly, her small body shivering, but her mind awake, alert. She thought about the stories her mother had told her long ago, about explorers from faraway stars, who came not to take, but to learn and share. Maybe one day, she would meet one of them, someone who would see her as she was, not as the others had. The ruins seemed larger as night fell, shadows stretching across broken walls and empty streets. Lyra's heart beat fast as she sensed movement in the darkness. She could not see it, but she felt eyes on her, waiting, testing. Suddenly, a soft hum filled the air, a sound unlike anything she had heard before. Her crystal glowed brighter, and Lyra knew instinctively that something was coming, something that could change everything. She took a deep breath and stepped forward, ready to face whatever waited in the shadows. For the first time, Lyra felt a spark of courage, a small flame against the endless loneliness. Somewhere out there, beyond the ruins, beyond the whispers of cruel voices, a chance awaited her, a chance to be seen, to be understood, and perhaps, to finally belong. The next day, Lyra woke early, the ruins silent and cold around her. She held the glowing crystal tightly, feeling its warmth as if it was guiding her. Suddenly, a strange hum echoed through the sky, louder than anything she had ever heard. She looked up and froze, her eyes widened as a massive silver spaceship descended slowly, its lights cutting through the orange sky like sharp blades. The ground trembled beneath her feet, and dust rose from the broken streets. The other aliens in the distance panicked, running in every direction, shouting warnings, but Lyra stayed hidden, crouching behind a broken wall. Her heart pounded in her chest, half with fear, half with curiosity. Then she saw him, a human stepping out of the spaceship, his movements careful and calm. He looked around, not with fear, but with wonder, scanning the ruins as if searching for something. Lyra felt drawn to him, a strange pull in her chest she could not explain. The human spoke in strange sounds, but Lyra had learned to listen with her mind. The crystal pulsed gently, and somehow she understood that this being meant no harm. Her fear began to fade, replaced by a cautious hope. The other aliens noticed her watching and started to whisper, "She is looking at him, maybe she wants to speak to him." Their voices were full of suspicion and fear, warning her to stay away, but Lyra felt she had to know more. She had to see why the human had come. The human's gaze suddenly fell on her, and for a moment, time seemed to stop. He stepped closer, slowly, without making sudden movements. His eyes were kind, his smile gentle, and Lyra felt a warmth she had never known. He spoke a few words, and a small device on his wrist translated them into her mind. "Hello, are you alone?" it said. The words were simple, yet they carried a kindness she had never felt from any of her own people. Lyra hesitated, unsure if she should reply, but the crystal pulsed again, encouraging her. She stepped out from her hiding place, small and trembling, yet determined. The human knelt down slightly, showing he was not a threat. "You don't have to be afraid," he said, and somehow, Lyra understood every word. She nodded slowly, and the first real smile formed on her lips in many cycles. The humans did not laugh at her, they did not push her away, they simply looked at her, seeing her for who she was. But the other aliens were not pleased. They muttered and scowled from the distance, plotting to drive the human away, thinking he would take Lyra from them. Their jealousy and fear created a tension in the air, sharp as the wind cutting through the ruins. The human, whose name Lyra learned was Ethan, stayed calm, speaking softly, showing gestures of friendship. He did not rush her, he did not demand anything, he simply waited, letting her feel safe, letting her decide what to do. As the twin suns began to set again, casting long shadows over the broken towers, Lyra felt a strange mixture of fear and excitement. Something had changed. The world that had been cruel and empty now felt like it held a possibility, a chance for friendship, a chance for hope. And deep inside, Lyra sensed that meeting Ethan was only the beginning, that her life was about to change forever. The whispers in her crystal grew louder, almost like a cheer, and she knew, for the first time, she was not truly alone. Days passed, and Lyra began to spend more time with Ethan. She followed him cautiously through the ruins, curious about the strange tools and gadgets he carried. The crystal in her pocket pulsed gently, as if guiding her to trust him. Ethan listened carefully to her stories, even when she spoke in her own language. The translator on his wrist helped them understand each other, but it was more than words. There was a feeling between them, a silent understanding that grew with every shared glance. Lyra showed him the hidden corners of the ruins, the places no other alien dared to go. She showed him the crystal gardens, where faint light still glowed among the broken stones. Ethan marveled at the beauty, his eyes wide with wonder, and Lyra felt a small spark of happiness she had never known. The other aliens watched from afar, suspicious and angry, whispering that she should not trust the human, warning her that he might take her away, but Lyra ignored them, feeling a warmth from Ethan's presence, something stronger than fear or loneliness. One evening, a sudden storm began to rise, the twin suns disappearing behind dark clouds. Lightning cracked across the sky, and the ruins shook under the wind. Lyra panicked, realizing she had never survived a storm this strong before. Ethan grabbed her hand gently, pulling her to a hidden cave. "Follow me," he said, and she obeyed without question. Inside, the cave was safe, lit by small glowing crystals embedded in the walls. Lyra could feel her heart slowing, calm returning with Ethan beside her. While waiting for the storm to pass, Lyra discovered something incredible. Her crystal glowed brighter than ever, and when she focused, it seemed to push the storm's energy away from them. The wind slowed, the lightning dimmed, and the cave remained untouched. Ethan's eyes widened in surprise and admiration. You did that?" he whispered, and Lyra nodded shyly, noticing the pride in his gaze. She realized he truly respected her, not just for her powers, but for who she was inside. The storm ended, leaving the ruins washed in soft moonlight. Lyra and Ethan stepped outside together, walking quietly among the broken streets. For the first time, Lyra felt safe in the world, not alone, not mocked, but truly seen. However, the other aliens' whispers grew louder, their jealousy and anger simmering like a hidden fire. They did not understand why Lyra trusted a human, and some began to plan against her and Ethan, creating a sense of danger that hung in the air like a shadow. Lyra felt it too, the tension pressing on her small shoulders, but she also felt courage growing inside her, stronger than the fear. She knew that with Ethan by her side, she could face whatever came, that perhaps kindness and trust were more powerful than cruelty and rejection. As the night deepened, Lyra looked up at the stars above, feeling a new sense of wonder. She realized that the universe was bigger than her loneliness, that there were beings who could care, who could be friends, even humans from distant stars. And in that moment, as Ethan smiled softly at her, Lyra understood something important. This connection, this trust, could change everything, not just for her, but for the world around her, if she dared to believe in it and step into the unknown. Days turned into nights, and Lyra could feel the weight of a decision pressing on her. The aliens who rejected her were growing restless, and whispers of danger followed her wherever she went. But beside her, Ethan remained calm, his presence a steady light in the darkness. He spoke softly one morning. "Lyra, you don't have to stay here if you don't want to." He explained that he could take her to a human colony, a place full of stars and strangers who might accept her. She listened, her heart torn between fear and hope. Lyra looked at the ruins she had always known, the broken towers and empty streets. This place was cruel and lonely, yet it was home. She had memories here, even if most were filled with pain. Could she leave everything behind for a chance at belonging elsewhere? The alien elders noticed her closeness with Ethan and demanded she stay. They threatened her, warning that leaving would bring dishonor, that no alien should trust a human. Their words weighed heavily on her heart, making the choice even harder. Ethan knelt before her, holding the glowing crystal she had found long ago. "Lyra, you are special," he said. "You have a gift, and you deserve to be seen, not hidden away." His words warmed her, the crystal pulsing like it agreed with him, urging her to trust. Lyra wandered alone through the ruined streets, thinking. Her mind raced with memories of rejection, but also with moments of kindness she had never known. She remembered the way Ethan had smiled, the way he had not mocked her, the way he had protected her. The aliens were watching from shadows, ready to stop her if she tried to leave. Fear prickled her skin like ice, but she also felt a spark of courage. She realized that staying meant living a life defined by fear and rejection, and leaving might be her only chance at freedom. Finally, she made her decision. Her small hand reached for Ethan's, gripping it tightly. I will go with you," she whispered, her voice trembling but determined. A surge of relief and excitement flowed through her as Ethan smiled brightly. "Then we leave tonight," he said. But just as she turned, ready to follow him, a massive alien force appeared, blocking the main path out of the ruins. Their eyes glowed with anger, and their weapons hummed with energy. The elders had sent them, determined to stop her from leaving with the human. Lyra froze, fear gripping her. The crystal in her hand flared brightly, as if warning her, urging her to act. Ethan stood beside her, calm but alert. "We can do this together," he said, giving her a reassuring nod. Heart pounding, Lyra realized this was more than a choice between staying or leaving. It was a test of courage, trust, and the strength of her own spirit. If she hesitated now, she might never have another chance. She took a deep breath, the crystal glowing like a heartbeat in her hand, and with Ethan beside her, she stepped forward, ready to face the aliens, ready to step into the unknown, ready to begin a new life beyond fear, beyond rejection, and into the vast universe waiting for her. The alien force blocked the path, their eyes glowing with anger and weapons ready. Lyra's heart raced, but she did not step back. She held the glowing crystal tightly, feeling its warmth and strength. Ethan stood beside her, his hand brushing against hers, giving her courage. "We can do this together," he whispered, and Lyra nodded, feeling a spark of determination she had never known before. The aliens advanced slowly, but Lyra focused on her crystal, letting its energy flow through her. She raised it high, and a shield of light burst around them, pushing the attackers back. Surprised, the aliens faltered, giving Lyra and Ethan the moment they needed. They ran through the ruins, dodging falling debris and laser blasts. The twin suns had set, but the glowing crystal lit their path, guiding them to the hidden spaceship. Lyra's pulse raced, but fear was mixed with excitement. As they reached the ship, Ethan quickly activated the engines, and the craft lifted off the ground, leaving the angry aliens behind. Lyra looked down at the planet she had called home, her heart heavy, but she knew she had made the right choice. The stars stretched before them, endless and bright. Lyra felt a new freedom she had never imagined. She could finally breathe, finally laugh, finally belong somewhere. The feeling of loneliness that had haunted her for so long began to fade, replaced by hope. Ethan smiled at her, his eyes gentle and warm. "You are safe now," he said, and Lyra nodded, a small tear sliding down her cheek. She had never felt seen like this before, never felt someone truly cared. They traveled through space together, discovering strange worlds and distant stars. Lyra learned more about humans and their ways, sharing stories of her own planet and culture. The bond between them grew stronger, built on trust, kindness, and shared adventure. Lyra thought of the other aliens, of the life she had left behind, but she did not regret her choice. She had stepped into the unknown, and it had brought her a new beginning, a life full of possibilities. As the ship glided past a glowing nebula, Lyra felt a strange presence in the distance, something unseen but powerful. She shivered with excitement, sensing that new adventures awaited, and that her story was only just beginning. She looked at Ethan, feeling a mixture of gratitude and joy. "Thank you for finding me," she whispered, and he smiled softly. "No, thank you for trusting me." The galaxy stretched endlessly around them, full of wonders and mysteries, and Lyra realized that belonging was not about where you were, but who was beside you. She had found friendship, trust, and maybe even love, in the most unexpected place. The crystal in her hand glowed softly, a reminder of her courage, her journey, and the life she had chosen. Lyra took a deep breath, feeling the vast universe welcoming her, ready for whatever challenges or wonders it might bring. And as the stars sparkled around them, Lyra knew she was no longer the outcast, no longer alone. She was part of something bigger, a universe of hope, adventure, and endless possibility. Her story was far from over, but this was the start of her new beginning.